Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm going to be smoking a brisket on my brand new Old Country G2 offset smoker. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm starting with a 14-pound USDA choice brisket. Now this brisket did come from a company called Goodstock by Nolan Ryan, and I've heard a lot of good things about these briskets, so they sent me one over. I said, hey, give this a shot. So we are going to be smoking this bad boy. I'm just gonna give this a simple trim. Now you guys have seen me trim a ton of briskets. Nothing different with this one. Just start with this decal fat right here. Get it all out. Take some of this fat off. So I'm just taking off some of the fat from the top, some of the heavier fat pockets. I'm not too worried about all the silver skin because a lot of that will just cook off in the smoker. All right, so that's it. On the fat cap, I do like to take this entire mohawk down, nice and flat. Now this brisket was wet aging in my fridge for 3 weeks, okay? So simply put, this was in the package for an entire 3 weeks inside my fridge, which was set at 32 degrees. So it's been wet aging for 3 weeks now. It's gonna make the brisket really nice and tender and delicious. All right, so on the point side, I like to leave a little bit more fat because this is gonna take the brunt of the heat from that smoker. So I like to leave a nice fat cap on this point side. Just gonna take this fat down just a little bit. And there we have it, perfectly trimmed brisket. All right, so let's season up the brisket. I'm gonna start with the meat side first. I'm gonna apply a little bit of mustard as a binder. Now, one thing I did notice, since I did wet age this brisket, was that the surface, even though it was in the package, once I took it out, it's a little bit drier than normal, okay? So the rub that I'm gonna be using is a brand new rub from PS Seasoning. And the name of it is Say I Moo, which is an SPG. Nice and heavy on the pepper as well. Check that out. Nice and coarse garlic, salt, and black pepper. Get your edges. A little bit of binder on the fat cap. Now you guys don't have to use any binder if you don't want to, but I like to use it. It works. There's a lot of people that says it doesn't. Well, I say it does. All right, that looks good right there. Let's go outside and fire up that pit. All right, so I've got my Old Country G2 barbecue pit running at 275 degrees, and it has been warming up for about 30 minutes. Now I made the mistake of starting this pit with 4 small splits of wood, but I would highly recommend that you start only with 2 splits. So I had to wait a little bit for that fire to tame down just a little bit. It's at 275 right now, which is the temperature I'm gonna be smoking at. And I'm gonna be using this Gourmet Wood Products Southern Barbecue Hickory Wood. Now this is the very first time I smoke a brisket using hickory wood, but I gotta tell you, it smells amazing, and I cannot wait to see what the final result's gonna taste like. So if you guys have never used the Gourmet Wood Product splits, I highly recommend them. These splits are the perfect size for your G2 backyard pit. So let me show you guys the fire. I do have a nice coal bed, and I added 1 small split of hickory on top of that coal bed. and that's giving me around 275 degrees. So I am going to be smoking with the fire door cracked just like that, and the vents open as well. My exhaust stack, I've got it about halfway open, as you can see right there. All right, let's load up our brisket. Now I did put a piece of wood right here just to block the intense heat from the point of the brisket. So you don't necessarily have to do this. You do get some baffles with a smoker. I'm not going to use the baffle, it's 100% open, but I am, again, going to use a small split of wood to block the intense heat from that point. So I'm placing this brisket about the halfway point of the smoker right here, with a point pointing towards that firebox. We're going to let this smoke for about 4 hours at 275 degrees, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so it's been 4.5 hours since we put our brisket on. Let's take a look at it. And there she is, building a really nice bark. Look at that. So far, so good. That point is nice and crunchy. Oh yeah, let's get an internal temperature. So I'm really liking that bark, but let's take an internal temperature and see where we're at right now. We're sitting at 107 degrees, almost in the middle of the brisket. 167 on the point. We're sitting at 164 on the point side. So again, I am liking that bark, but I'm going to let it go for probably 30 more minutes. Let that surface dry up a little bit more, especially right here on the flat, and then we'll come back and wrap it. Stay tuned. All right, so total cook time has been 5 hours. I'm going to go and wrap up this brisket in aluminum foil. Now, I don't normally use aluminum foil, but I want to speed up this cooking process. So I'm going to use the old Texas crutch, which means wrap the brisket tightly in foil, which is going to speed up the cooking process. All right, so I got the brisket all wrapped up, and it is smelling absolutely delicious. So at this point, I'm not really looking for an internal temperature. I'm just wanting to get this brisket really nice and tender. I'm going to shut the door, and I'll let you guys know how long that takes. Stay tuned. All right, so the brisket has been on for 7 hours and 15 minutes, and I believe it's done. Again, I'm not looking for temperature, I'm just looking for tenderness. And look at that, like butter. Now that's on the point. I also like to check the flat, like butter as well. I know a lot of you guys want an internal temperature, so here you go. What is that, 205 degrees on the point side, and 204 degrees on the flat side. So at this point, I'm gonna let the brisket rest overnight. I'm gonna pull it off real quick, and I'll show you what I'm gonna hold it in. All right, so this is my ProMax 100S. You guys probably saw this smoker in my bacon video. So this primarily is a smokehouse, okay? You can definitely smoke sausage with it, but it doubles as a holding cabinet as well. So you can see the burner down there. That's what warms up this entire smokehouse right here. Again, I am not going to be introducing any smoke. I'm just going to hold this at 155 degrees. Now this is a well insulated smokehouse, and that's why I love using these as a holding cabinet as well. So I'm going to hold this brisket at 155 degrees. Right now it's sitting at 69 degrees. It's going to come up to temperature here pretty quick. We will see you guys tomorrow morning. Alright guys, so it's the very next day, and before we slice into that brisket, I want to show you guys my brand new e-bike from Veribest. Now I've been riding this bike for about 2 months now, and it is awesome. So it's a brand new year, 2024, and a lot of people go on a health craze and start exercising. Well, this is going to be my exercise cycle right here. So one of the cool features about this e-bike right here is you can actually fold it in half. You just move the latch right here, just like that. And the frame actually splits in half. You can throw it behind the trunk of an SUV or a small car, which is really neat. So as you can see, it has some really nice tires on this e-bike right here. Makes the ride really comfortable. It's got a comfortable seat, which is absolutely perfect. Now obviously, being an e-bike, this bike is rechargeable. It does have a charging port on this side right here. Just plug your charger right here. You can charge it. Let's take this bad boy out for a ride. Now it does have a key right here on the bottom of the frame. You can take this and turn it all the way to the left, which means it's on. Then all we got to do is turn the power on by hitting this menu button right here. Our display is on. You can see I've driven this thing 15, almost 16 miles. All right, let's go. Now we did get a little bit of rain, so the street's a little slick. Got to be extra careful here. But look at this thing go. Now I'm using 100% electric assist right now. We're going, oh, that was 14 miles an hour there. Now this e-bike does have a max speed of 20 miles per hour. It's got front brakes and rear brakes. And there's a car coming, so I'm gonna have to stop. All right, I'm gonna show you what 20 miles per hour looks like. And I'm not a little guy, okay? I'm a pretty big guy. For this bike to go 20 miles an hour with me on it, which is the maximum speed, is pretty impressive. There's 19 miles per hour, and there's 20 miles per hour right there. Again, that was 100% electric assist. Now you also have a really bright headlight on this bike, so if you want to ride this thing at night, you can absolutely do that. Now it does have different levels of assist. Right there I have it on the highest level of electric assist, which is number 1, but actually I can adjust it right here all the way to level 5. Level 5 has the least amount of electric assist when you're pedaling. Now you do have a pedal assist right here on this button. You can have a 0 assist, which means you pedal 100% of the way, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm just pedaling the bike by myself, going 12 miles an hour. Now if I adjust this up, it gives me a little bit of electric assist. The higher the number, the more electric assist I have. Now this bike also has some gears. It's got this Shimano gear right here, so I'm going to drop it down to 5. Right there makes it a little easier to pedal. If I hit this button, it actually goes up, which makes it a little harder to pedal. That's number 6, and there's number 7. Or again, I can go 100% electric assist by twisting the throttle. Super cool, guys. Nice smooth ride. You do have a suspension on the front forks and the rear of the bike as well. There's 20 miles an hour right there. Really nice and fast. Gonna turn left here, go back home. It is cold. Uh-oh, there's a dog right there. Super cool, guys. Again, for a guy that doesn't exercise much, this is a great way to ease into it. And there you have it, guys, the Viribus e-bike. I am loving this thing. If you guys are interested in getting yourself one, check them out at the link below. All right, guys, so it's the very next day and our brisket has been resting for 12 hours. Let's take a look at it and see what we got. It's really juicy, number 1. Again, I rarely use foil, but look at that. It smells amazing. Bark is nice and soft. Yeah, buddy. Look at that, nice and jiggly. All right, guys, let's slice into this bad boy. Look at that, nice and jiggly. But what do you guys think about that e-bike? Is that nice or what? All right, so I'm just gonna take a center cut slice right here. Wait a minute. I'm tired of slicing briskets. You know, I'm cooking this brisket like a caveman with nothing but wood and fire. Why don't I just bite this like a caveman? We're gonna give this the caveman taste test. Oh yeah. Look at that big old bite I took right there. So I'm just gonna slice it right here, just to give you the money shot. It's nice and juicy. Look at that. You gotta be kidding me. Am I squeezing it? Yes. Why am I squeezing it? Because this is my brisket. But let's take a slice. Oh man. Look at that. That bark is pretty darn savage. Look at that. Nice and juicy, tender. Oh yeah. All right guys, so overall I am really happy with this brisket. And I gotta tell you that Old Country G2 pit smokes absolutely amazing. It only took 7 hours and 15 minutes to produce this brisket. That is really fast. I gotta tell you guys that Old Country G2 pit is like the perfect backyard pit. Doesn't consume a lot of wood, produces really good barbecue. You guys have got to check them out. So just in case you guys didn't catch that, when I wrapped this brisket, I didn't add anything to the foil, no tallow, no beef broth, nothing. And I still ended up with a juicy brisket. I hope you guys enjoyed this brisket video. If this is your first time to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit BBQ. See ya.